Hey everybody, Harv here. Let's continue our lecture into chapter one. So, in the last lecture, we were talking about the Black Death, right? And some of the major effects or consequences of the Black Death, okay? And remember, a huge theme of this class is cause and effect. Um, One of the major effects, right, we were talking about was an economic effect that really hurt the nobles, right? We saw a decline of peasants, aka peasants were able to ask for higher wages because there was a labor shortage. Okay, really important for us to remember. So peasants were able to say, hey, there's not as many of us working, we need higher wages. At the same time, nobles were not making as much money because the price of food was going down because there was less people to feed. Okay, less of a demand for food. So nobles are really going to be hurt economically. All right. Now we know, okay, that's going to kind of play a part within the political and social consequences of the Black Death because we are going to see the rise of monarchies from this. Nobles are going to be losing out economically, and therefore that's going to facilitate their loss politically. Okay, we're going to see them not making as much money, not having as much influence because of that loss of money, and we're going to see the rise of monarchies taking power away from them. Okay, and that's going to start changing feudalism. We know that one of the big socio-economic economic changes, we're going to start to see that feudalistic society start to break down. Peasants are leaving the farm, they're going to different areas. Nobles not making as much money. Okay, and that's going to play a big part in the decline of feudalism. Okay. Also, remember an important part of this is the loss of faith in the church. Okay, people are going to be losing faith in the Catholic Church because the Catholic Church is going to have a really tough um, time explaining the Black Death, explaining what's going on, and helping people in solving the problems of the Black Death. Okay, they're not going to be able to solve it, and that's going to lead to a rise of secularization and a loss of faith in the church. Okay, really important. And who's going to take that power that the church is losing? We're going to see it in the monarchies. People are going to start putting their faith in monarchies um, as opposed to the Catholic Church. Okay, really important for us. Okay, another social consequence I really didn't talk about was what's going to be going on with the Jewish population of Europe. Okay, remember, Jews are going to be scapegoated during this time. The Jewish populations are going to be blamed for this, and this is going to be a big theme in this class of talking about some religious minority groups being blamed for problems. Okay, Jews are going to be blamed for what's going to be going on in Western Europe, in Central Europe, and we're going to see a mass exodus of Jews and a migration of Jews to Eastern Europe. Okay, why is that important? Why am I mentioning that? Well, we're going to see the Jews suffer so much during the Holocaust and suffer so much during World War II, and we're going to see when Hitler invades Eastern Europe, he is going to find lots of Jewish groups there, and we know that he is going to murder them in the Holocaust. Okay, so that's one reason why we're going to see when Hitler, some of the terrible figures we see in World War II, as well a lot of Jews lived in Eastern Europe, and that's going to be a place where Hitler invades. Okay, and we'll talk about that more in March and April. Okay, let's move on. Okay, let's talk about the 100 Years' War. Okay, 100 Years' War is the second major topic that I want to discuss in chapter one. Okay, now let's talk about war in this class. I've mentioned World War II. That's going to be a really important war for us to understand. War is a huge theme in this class. You have to know the major wars that we're going to talk about. World War II, the Cold War, World War One, Crimean War, the 30 Years' War, 7 Years' War, Napoleonic War. War is a huge, you kind of catch what I'm saying. War is a huge theme in this class and a huge part of this class, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the 100 Years' War is not going to be on your AP exam, but there are some fundamental changes in the 100 Years' War that you need to be aware of that's going to facilitate some of the changes that we're going to see later on in the Renaissance and Reformation in the 14, 15, 1600s. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, 100 Years' War. Let's start off with cause. Really important for us to know. Remember, cause and effect, huge theme in this class. Okay, we are going to see the English King Edward III. Hold on, let's stop for a second. You probably all have the question in your heads. Harv, do we need to know who that is for the exam? Do we need to know who that is? Okay, we are going to discuss lots of leaders, kings, queens. It can get a little confusing. I will tell you who you need to know for your AP exam. I will have a list out and we're going to go over them. We're going to memorize them. We're going to know it. Okay? Now, for your chapter 1 quiz, do you need to know some of these leaders? Yes, you do. Okay? For your chapter 1 quiz that we're going to have, you need to be aware of some of these people and have the right Roman numeral and know that it's not Edward II, it's Edward III, Philip VI, not Philip the 50th. Okay? You need to know these leaders. AP exam? No, you do not. Okay? But it's important for us to start getting used to Roman numerals and getting used to, lots of Louis, lots of Philips, some Henrys. Okay? So, all right, important for us to kind of discuss. Okay? All right, so the English king, England. All right, we should know where that is based on our map quiz. Okay, the English king Edward had a claim to the French throne. He thought that he should be king. All right, now that's not going to happen. The French nobles, we're going to see the French people decide to put Philip VI in charge. Philip VI. All right, he is part of the Valois family. Now we're going to discuss some different families in this class: the Hohenzollern, the Romanovs, the Tudors, the Stuarts. There's some different families, okay? Philip is part of the Valois family. Let's highlight that, circle that, and have that in our notes. We're gonna talk about the Valois a little bit later. Okay? So Edward III wants to be king of France. It's not gonna happen. Philip VI becomes king of France, all right? Edward III, all right, is also a duke, and he has land in France, aka he's kind of like almost a noble in France. All right, he has title in France. He has privilege in France, okay? And remember, nobles are supposed to pay fealty, pay honor, loyalty to the king. All right, so French nobles are supposed to, swear their loyalty and honor and fealty to, the French king. Edward, who is technically a French noble, he's going to refuse to do that. He's going to be like, yeah, nah, I'm cool. I'm good. All right, and Philip's going to be like, I'm hurt. That's messed up. That's insulting. He's going to be salty about that. He's going to be insulted about that. Okay? So that's going to create some tension. The England and France are going to be feuding over this territory in modern-day Belgium. It's Flanders. It's also known as the Low Countries, northern France, the Belgium area, and we'll take a look at that on the map. Okay? But the overall larger cause that's important, ladies and gentlemen, is that England and France are two rising nation states. Okay? England, part of the British Isles, okay? And there's a lot of different people and countries in the British Isles. You have the Welsh, you have the Scots, okay? You have the Irish, all right? England, and we'll talk about the birth of the UK. England is not the UK yet. That's important for you all to understand. This is not Great Britain yet. Okay, this is England. It's not the UK yet. But England and France are these two rising nation states, two territories, and they're having, an economic, political, social rivalry. And there's war is going to break out. We are going to see the English and French fight for a long time. It's not going to be until Germany comes about that they're going to be like, let's be friends, okay? Because the Germans are going to, when the Germany unites, that's going to change the entire game, and we will get into that. Okay, that's going to be a game changer. All right, so England and France are going to be fighting. All right, now France was, ladies and gentlemen, a large, wealthy country. Had a lot of people, a lot of influence, okay? But they had a major, major, major problem, okay? Is that they were fighting amongst themselves. They were politically, okay, disunified. They were not unified. That's a huge problem if you're going to fight a war, okay? English are going to give them all that they can handle, all right? And couple that with the fact that you have French nobles fighting amongst each other, not agreeing, not helping each other. That greatly is going to weaken France. And we're going to see it's not until Joan of Arc helps them unify, creates this sense of nationalism and politically, socially, and militarily helps unite the French that they're going to be able to kick the English out, okay, and get them out of France. All right, so that's going to be a huge weakness for the French. All right. Let's talk about technology. Technology, science, weaponry is a huge theme in this class. Warfare is going to change. We do not fight warfare the way that we're going to see warfare in the 100 Years' War. Okay, it's way different. Okay, and technology plays a huge part in that. Okay, a big technological innovation within the 100 Years' War was the English longbow. It gave the English a huge advantage in the 100 Years' War. It was a bow and arrow, I think, like the size of a person. They were huge bows and arrows. And the size of that bow um, helped that bow and arrow, shoot farther. It could reach distances farther than the French bows and arrows. All right, and that long range weapon gave the English a great advantage in battle. They could, the French would have to get really, really close in order to fire on the English, and the English could just back away, and just outrange them. Huge advantage for the English in fighting. Okay, another new weapon that we're going to see that's important is the cannon. Okay, prior to the cannon, you had huge castles that were like almost these impenetrable fortresses, and it would take a long time to kind of break through a castle and there would be big sieges, and it was tough to get through a castle. The cannon makes the castle obsolete. It could just knock those things right down. Okay, so that's important, all right? But this theme of technology and innovation in warfare is going to be something that we're going to talk about. I mean, we're going to get all the way to the Cold War, where you have, or in World War II with Hiroshima and Nagasaki, where we have bombs that can destroy an entire city. And now we have weapons now where the world can't even fight major conventional wars anymore, or else the entire world will be destroyed. We have these crazy nuclear weapons now. Okay, so keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, technology, warfare, innovation, that's going to be really important for us, okay? And here's a picture of, fealty, of, loyalty, homage, all right? It's this idea of, you can see, like a noble kneeling and giving homage to, a king. And remember, Edward is refusing to do that with Philip. He's saying, no, I'm not going to respect you. I'm not going to pay you homage. Okay, I want to be king. I don't think you should be king. All right, that's really going to be disrespectful to Philip. Okay, and lead to the fighting. All right. Okay, so the 100 Years' War, ladies and gentlemen, has 3 phases. All right, in the first 2 phases, the English are winning. Third phase, the French win. Okay, and then the war's over. All right. Do you need to know all these specifics? No. For your quiz, you'll need to know some. All right, but for the AP exam, not necessarily. All right. In the first phase, we are going to see Flanders, that territory that England and France are fighting about. Flanders is going to ally with the English, okay, and recognize Edward as king of France. All right, and the English are going to start to seize or take some coastal cities. Calais is one of them. All right, we're going to see the English win a big battle near Poitiers, okay, and the French king at that time, John II, is going to be taken captive. Okay. We're going to see a treaty, okay? And we're going to see in that treaty, the Treaty of, I believe, Bretigny, all right? The English claims in France are going to be recognized, and Edward is going to say, you know what? I'm good. I don't need to be king of France, okay? And France is going to regain the majority of that land. Now, y'all might be like, wait, what? That fighting was pointless, okay? Well, we do see some wars and fighting that are kind of pointless in this class, okay? But Edward got what he wanted. He got recognition, he got more influence, okay? And he was kind of playing the slow game. Okay? The second phase, okay? We're going to see a pause. Remember, this war is kind of like on and off, okay, over 100 years, all right? But things going to calm down when England's kind of got their own problems. We're going to see some huge peasant revolts during this time. Okay, and we kind of mentioned that's going on, all right, because the nobles are losing power. All right, the status quo is changing, feudalism is starting to break down. All right, but we're going to see the war kind of be back on under the King Henry V. Okay, and he is going to win a huge battle at Agincourt in 1415. We're going to see the Duchy of Burgundy join the English. We're going to see some French join the English. That's huge. Right, and we know that that's a big problem for the French, right? Where they're not unified, and so you're having some French nobles, French territory supporting the English, and that's a big problem. Okay, and we see a major treaty. This is important. The Treaty of Troyes. This is important for us. Okay, it names Henry V, the successor to the French King Charles VI. Now, they both die, okay? And a lot of the people that we're going to be talking about in this class are dead, okay, because of history, all right? But they both die, all right? But that's important. Whoa. The English king is now the successor to the French king, that's a big deal. Okay? That's a big deal. All right? Now, we're going to see the French king at this time, and he's kind of like in this really hard spot because he's like recognized by some people, not recognized by other people, and they're fighting this big war and they're losing. He is going to be kind of pushed back against the wall, and he's in a tough spot. Okay, he's in a real tough spot. And he's going to turn to a woman, Joan of Arc, to help save France. Now, we're going to talk a lot in this class about some amazing women. Joan of Arc, we got Mary Wollstonecraft, Olympe de Gouges, Emmeline Pankhurst, some incredible female figures. And Joan of Arc is one of those first female figures that we're going to talk about. It's really, really important, okay? So what I want you all to do right now is we have some big themes in class. I want you to take out another sheet of paper, okay? Or, get a different color because we're going to start talking about women. Women is a big theme in this class, and you might have a DBQ or an LEQ or an SAQ just on women. So let's take out, if you've been writing your notes in black ink or blue ink or red ink or whatever, let's change the color so we know that we're now talking about women, okay? Have like a color coded, color coordinated, color coded that we know we're talking about an important theme, okay? And I like to have my notes, organized according to theme. Okay, so we're talking about an important woman. That's going to be important because we're going to talk about many. Okay, before we talk about Joan of Arc and what she does, ladies and gentlemen, take a look at the kind of the progression, the chronology of the 100 Years' War. You can see, ladies and gentlemen, right here, the English starting to take some coastal cities. Here's Flanders up here, right? It's this area, kind of northern France, Belgium area. Okay, there's Calais, that coastal city. There's Poitiers. There's Agincourt. Okay, and you can see over time the English have slowly, we're gaining more and more influence, more and more territory. Okay, France was almost gone. Okay, and you can see the Duchy of Burgundy. Remember that Duchy of Burgundy, that territory joined with the English. Okay, third phase. This is the phase where the French finally figure things out and start to win. There was a teenage peasant. This is Joan of Arc. She declares that she was called from God to help the French, okay, and to deliver the besieged city of Orleans. Okay, have you ever heard of New Orleans? That was a French, French influence in colonial North America. Okay, the original city is Orleans. Okay, and let's go take a look at it on our map. It's right here. Okay, so Joan of Arc declared that she had a call from God to help the French, okay? And she is going to lead the French to major victories. She's awesome, all right? And so the French are quickly going to turn things around with Joan and give them hope, okay? Now, hold up. Whoa, hold up. We're going to see Charles, the king at this time, okay? I believe Charles VII, okay? He is going to give Joan up to the English, okay? And she's going to be captured and burned and killed. Let's think about why Charles might do that. Let's go ahead and pause the video and think about that for a second. Why would Charles do that? She just saved France from the English. What? Why would she do that? Okay? Let's think about that. All right, unpause. Charles did that because, well, Joan suddenly was like, this big hero. She was this figure, this very popular figure who had just beaten the English, who had helped the French defeat their enemy. Okay, and that threatened his power. Okay, so he's going to remove her from the equation. Okay, eventually the English are going to be forced back, and they're going to conclude the war with only Calais as their only possession. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, this is really important. Okay. So the summary of the 100 Years' War, some of the main components that I want to talk about, okay? It was 68 years of peace, 44 of war. What's important, though, ladies and gentlemen, is this. France becomes more unified. There's a nation. We're going to see France and England become these more modern nation states. Joan helped awaken French patriotism. We are French. Do you want to be French forever? Because you may be owned by the English soon, or we may become part of England, okay? Help them unify together. That's nationalism, okay? helped them, brought out also patriotism. We'll talk about the difference between nationalism and patriotism a little bit later. All right, but this national feeling, okay, and France is becoming a more powerful, centralized state, okay. The English and French peasants suffered a ton, but this is also really, 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 really important. I want you to circle this, highlight this, ladies and gentlemen, okay? We are going to be seeing in the 100 Years' War the rise of professional armies. These are armies not loyal to a noble. These are armies that are paid for, that are loyal to whoever pays them, and that person who is paying them is the monarch, is the king or queen. That is important. And that's another fundamental blow to the power of the nobles. Okay? That is a big problem for them because now they don't have this like their own little army that's loyal to them that the king says, "Hey, can I borrow?" No. The king now has kings and queens are now having their own army, their own military, these professional armies. Okay? And that seems like such an obvious thing that wasn't always the case. Okay? That's really important for us. Okay, so it's a huge effect of the 100 Years' War. All right? And there is Joan of Arc. Incredible. Okay, let's stop here. We will discuss in our next lecture the decline of the church. Okay, thank you so much.